Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Faith the Pharmacist. For those of you who are new here we talk about everything being a pharmacist in the United Kingdom from my perspective as a Christian Nigerian immigrant pharmacist. So if you feel like you can relate to any of this, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Today we're talking about navigating colleague relationships. I might title it differently, but I just want to let you guys know about the possibility of actually having a work environment that is amazing, a work environment that you are happy to be in, a work environment that does not bring you stress and anxiety. So if you feel like you need some nuggets from this, just keep watching this video, and I pray that this will edify you as much as I have been led to put this video out there. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Can you believe that in my 6 years of practicing, I have worked with so many teams. I've worked with teams where I've been anxious to go into work. I've worked with teams where I just felt like they were gossiping about me all the time. I've worked with teams where people were trying to set me up. I've worked with teams where I just felt uneasy about being around them. It's just been a lot of different things. So I can understand if you're currently in a situation where you're working with a team where things are not just quite going how they should go, and you're going to work with anxiety and all of that. I'm here to tell you that your situation does not have to be like that, and you need to watch this video to understand what I mean by that. I'm going to be going through different series of things that you might need to consider in terms of how to get yourself to a position where you have a team that you are very happy to go into the office and work with. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is, are you really meant to be at that job? Like, is that your job though? Are you supposed to be there? Yes. So I'm going to be telling you about how God took me through like different jobs to get to where I am right now, and I feel a lot at ease here. If you are not praying about jobs before applying to them, or at least getting a strong sense of this is definitely what I'm supposed to be doing or where I'm supposed to be, even when you get into the job, if you're not praying about, even before you start, the team, prepare this team for me, Lord, like curate this team to fit in with like what you desire for me. Like, make sure, God, that I walk into this team and everything is fine. Or is this the right job, God? Whatever it is, hand it over to God. And I'm making this my number one because you have to set the foundation. If the job is not right, if the team is not right, before you even go into it, you're already set up for failure. And I have to tell you that for a fact. So before you get on a new job, if you are not already in one, pray about it. Find out things about that job. Find out things about the team. Pharmacy is such a small world. There's so many people you can speak to gain information. Find out a lot of things, and if it doesn't sit well with your spirit, if it does not just sit well with you, do not throw yourself in the deep end, maybe because you're desperate to earn money. If you're desperate to earn money, there's so many other ways for you to achieve this. You can locum until you find something that suits you and actually sits well with your spirit. So yeah, that's the first thing. Preparation, making sure that the table is actually set before you walk in. Pray about the job, pray about the team, and make sure you get the confirmation strongly in your spirit before you walk into that situation. All right. So the second thing is, first impression matters, but do not let it define the rest of your relationship. So by first impression, I'm talking about like even your appearance on your first day. Are you having a bad day? Do you walk in there with a like really bad look on your face? Are people looking at you and wondering what's wrong with this one? Your first time in a new job, if you feel like you're going to walk in there and you've already had a bad day, I honestly don't think there's anything wrong in calling and asking to move the days, but hopefully that doesn't happen to you. But you need to always walk into a new environment with the right attitude, looking the part, and obviously giving everybody the benefit of the doubt. Don't just walk in and just decide that there's someone there that you don't want to get on with, fine. This is talking about you, right? And I know that there are other factors that can come into play with the other people that you're working with, or other people on the team that might already have like bad intentions or bad things in their minds. Yo, get yourself covered, cover your own side. Don't worry about them, because God is going to fight for you. Honestly, just make sure that you walk in with the right first impression. But hey, if you don't end up having the right first impression, because life happens, right? Make sure that as the days go by and you realize that maybe you've already soiled the place before you even get too far into it, or you've like done something that's like maybe not palatable to the team, there's nothing wrong in actually, number one, acknowledging what you've done, because you're human and they're human. Number two, righting your wrongs. If you need to apologize. If you need to do something differently to pass across a different message to what you initially passed across, do it. There's nothing wrong in actually bringing yourself to that level of saying, do you know what, initially I came across like this, but genuinely this is not who I am. This is what I actually am like instead. And trust me, people are human. If you're going to be working with people for a long time, chances are they will end up giving you a second chance at some point, and you end up being able to redeem yourself from maybe the wrong first impression that you gave. Just try as much as possible to not walk into a new job with an attitude, just ready to throw people off balance. Like, that's just wrong. Do not do it. It's not right. So in as much as we can point fingers at everybody else, you need to look inwardly as well. What is in your heart that actually would affect your interactions with these people in this new job that you're about to walk into? Search yourself. Like, you might have had traumas or bad experiences from previous jobs, but it doesn't mean that you should take all of that into this new job, because it will just go and affect relationships that you could have formed that would have been really beneficial to you in the future. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is about managing the conversations that you have with your colleagues. Now, I am a big advocate of having conversations with your colleagues at work, right? Talk to them, share things with them, but within limits. Make sure that you are asking for wisdom to know what to say and what not to say, because there are certain things that you can say that will just throw you under the rug. Let me tell you one instance where I threw myself under the, honestly, I feel like this person was just out to get me, but I could have maybe watched the kind of things I was saying, knowing the environment that I was in, right? So I was working with someone who was not heterosexual, and I made a comment about, back in Nigeria, these are things that people don't necessarily agree with, but I feel like Nigeria is moving forward. It's becoming more acceptable. Lots of people are like getting on with it and being okay with these things. It doesn't mean that I want to tell this person that I cast and bind you in the name of Jesus, because God has asked us to love each other. God says to love your neighbor as yourself. So regardless of what you appear as, or what you look like, or what choices you make in life, I'm ready to love you as my neighbor, as I love myself. So I was just having conversation that to me was harmless, but I should have read the room and known that maybe certain things I should keep in my head, even if I'm thinking it, or just, analyze it in my brain and figure out whether I should say it or not say it. And I said that and didn't realize in the moment that it was going to come back and bite me in the ass. But it came up in later disputes with this said individual, and I had to look back in hindsight and think, well, I shouldn't have actually said that, because I don't know exactly how they're going to perceive those things. Though I meant it harmlessly, intention might be good, but you never know how that person is actually perceiving what you're saying. So ask for wisdom every day you go in and you're interacting with your team. Ask for wisdom to know what to say and what not to say. Stop and think before you say certain things. I'll be very honest, in my current team, we get so comfortable with each other, we talk about all sorts of things, and until recently I would literally just blurt out almost anything, but I've been learning a lot recently that there's certain things that I should keep onto myself until I feel strongly like, okay, it's okay to say this. So just read the room, read the environment, understand the kind of conversations that you entertain, the kind of conversations that you have. You don't want to be having conversations that's like gossiping about your other team members in negative ways. If you have things to say about someone who maybe has wronged you, or you feel like they're doing something wrong, how about you take it up with them in a friendly, loving, non-judgmental manner, rather than sitting down with another person and constantly just bashing them. That's one thing I know I would definitely be moving forward with, because I would have in the past had conversations about people behind their backs, but I don't think I should be doing that now. So yeah, if you have something with someone, if you have beef with someone, or whatever it is, something they did does not sit well with you, have a conversation with them, because at the end of the day, you sit down and have moans and do all sorts with other people that would not actually make a difference to the situation. So you're just stirring the pot and making things more dramatic, and just more anxiety reading even for yourself. So yeah, just watch the kind of conversations you have with your colleagues, because it's so easy to fall into the trap of saying things and getting too comfortable that you say something that will just come and just bite you in your bum. Like, I'll give you another example. So I know someone who, let me give just hypothesis, right? I know someone who was doing their qualification exam to be a doctor, but came to work as a dispenser in a pharmacy. So the pharmacists and everybody did not know up until a certain point where they now found out that, oh, this person is actually a doctor, and they just transferred from overseas, and they're just waiting to get their results, right? After some time, when that person passed that information across to them and they found out, they actually started to use it against the person. How, you might ask? They started to say things like, oh, you're feeling like we're beneath you, whenever they feel like maybe something comes across a little bit that they don't like. Or like, for example, if the person says, oh, I'm not feeling comfortable to pick up this batch of delivery that just came, can someone give me a hand? Or can someone else do the deliveries while I serve on till? Things like that, right? They'll be saying, oh, they're feeling too pompous, they're feeling too big. All of a sudden, they're trying to act like they're above us. Do you get? So in that context, like, there was no really any wrong thing telling your colleagues that you are waiting for your license to practice as a doctor in the UK. But if you have wisdom, you will actually, if God gives you wisdom, if the Holy Spirit works within you, you would actually understand that there's certain things that maybe you should just keep to yourself. So the next tip I'm going to be giving you is to engage in team bonding activities. Engage in, when your team says they're going out for dinner, do not be that person who always says, no, I can't attend. Because why are you being a party pooper? Like, I can understand if there are odd occasions where something comes up and you just can't go, or maybe if the activity they're doing does not suit you, or maybe they want to go and climb rocks and you're like terrified of climbing rocks and you have PTSD and all that. Have good reason for saying no, but do not consistently say no to everything. Like, I can understand when you're thinking, oh, I'm a Christian, they're asking that we go to a bar, I don't want to be in a bar. But you can be in a bar and just have soft drinks for the sake of, allowing your team to feel like you are actually care about them and you want to, get to know them outside of work. And honestly, that thing is important here. I don't know where you're coming from, what country you are in or you've come from. It is so important to actually spend a little bit of time with your team members, your colleagues at work outside of your working hours, because this helps you to see them in a different light, right? A lot of them are just very at work, but sometimes you get to see people let their hair down and it just helps you see a different side of them. And actually, it's very, very much fun. So when the team is having like Christmas do's and birthday dinners, or like, for example, my team planned me a baby shower, and that was such a nice gesture and I absolutely appreciated it. Imagine someone who always just does not want to attend. Obviously, you're trying to pass a message to the team that you don't really care about them and you don't really want to be seen hanging out with them outside of work. I don't know who you are or what you have going on in life, but saying no to every single team activity is just wrong, okay? It's wrong, and don't do it, because you send across the wrong message. And I'm so sorry, I feel like a lot of us Africans tend to do it more often, and that we sometimes have excuses that I feel like can be worked on. For example, or if they invite you to dinner, you're thinking, oh, what are they going to serve that I'm going to go and spend my money on and just waste money on food that I will not enjoy. But the reality is, how about you actually try out new food? How about you actually try out new foods? You don't have to be stuck in your ways all the time. Spend time getting to know your team members outside of work. It doesn't happen all. I'm sure they're not trying to hang out like every Friday night or every weekday night. It's probably like once every few months. That would not harm anyone. Even if you cannot be there the entire time, at least just go and show a level of, actually, I intend and I'm happy to get on with you guys and just see how you guys are outside of work, and just, bond in a much lighter environment that's not work related. I hope this makes sense. The next thing I'm going to talk about, and this one I'm going to be giving an example, personal example. Learn and respect the culture of your new environment. And by culture, I mean so many different things. So it could be, how the work is done, because you can go into one business and go into another business who seemingly do the same things, but they have different processes. And you don't want to go in and say, oh, I'm stuck in my ways and I have to do mine this way. What is the way that they do theirs, and how can you try and as much as possible to fit yourself into it? Because obviously they have standard operating procedures, right? Don't just go and say, oh, this is how I'd rather do mine and it has to be that way. Find a middle ground if it has to be that, but don't just go there and just completely decide to change everything that they do. And the other thing is culture. If you are an immigrant, if you're an overseas pharmacist, when you come into the UK, there's so many things that will shock you. There's so many things that will shock you. Let me tell you the first thing that shocked me on my very first day as a pre-registration trainee pharmacist. Okay, we had a 71-year-old lady who worked on my team as a counter assistant. She was so lovely and we got on so well. But this very first day, she came around in the morning and she asked everyone if they wanted tea or coffee. Now, the well-trained Nigerian girl in me first went, mommy, I be grandma. Grandma, you want to make me a drink? This is so unusual. Like, if my Nigerians are here, you guys will understand. This is so unusual. Like, elderly people do not do things for young people. Like, are you mad? Like, is there something wrong with you? Instead, you're not that's supposed to be asking them what they want to eat and what they want to drink. And if you see them lifting, you're trying to like grab things off of them so they don't fall down. That kind of thing. That's how I was like accustomed to living. However, this woman offered to make me tea and coffee, and I saw everyone saying yes to it, and I was like, okay, yes now. But even then, I was still shocked to my bone marrow. So she did not only just make the tea and coffee. After we all drank it, she came back and took all our cups and wanted to wash it. Now, at this point, my body and my spirit separated because I was just in utter shock and disbelief at the fact that this old woman will now wash cup for me. Like, my mother at home hardly washes my plate. I would literally be so stressed. Well, anyway, she does now, actually, to be fair. But when I was growing up, it was like, your mommy is going to wash your plates? That's odd. So I ran after her and I was like, no, please, let me wash the cups. And she just turned and gave me this stare that literally shook me again and again. And she was like, are you trying to say that I'm handicapped or that I don't know how to wash cups? I don't understand. What are you insinuating? And I didn't even know how to explain myself, because how do I start telling you that you are old, which is another thing that you don't tell people in the UK, because it's not right, it's rude. How do I start telling her that you are old and we don't let elderly people do things where I'm from? Like, it just didn't make sense to me in that moment. So I just apologized and I left her to it. But for the rest of that day, best believe I was just trying to like add two and two together. I was just like computing. So it's little things like that, and that was just something really minor, right? But it's little things like understanding the culture of this new country, this new environment that you've walked into, because best believe you're going to have to deal with a lot of it, and you don't want to be caught just continuously trying to oppose their culture. At the end of the day, you've come into this country, so you need to find a way to blend in. What's that saying? When you're in Rome, you have to behave like the Romans. Not completely, but at least to an extent. Right? So if you see me now, I've been drinking tea and coffee. Tea was just beverage that we had in the mornings back home in Nigeria. But now I can drink tea like 10 times a day. Like, I can drink coffee. I never used to drink coffee, but I'd be drinking coffee. Me and coffee were best friends. Yeah, so I've started living like the Romans. And to be honest, I don't mind it. There are a lot of my culture that obviously I will tell them and will banter about, and I'll explain to them. And I'll tell them why I don't know. Actually, now I hardly let people still make my tea and coffee because it just rubs me off way. I don't know why. It's hard. Sometimes they do, but It's hard. A lot of the time I'll just go and make it myself, or I'll offer to make everyone's one. The next thing I'm going to say is that everybody, and that includes you yourself, everybody has their own life struggles and troubles. Be respectful, right? You can imagine that somebody is holding a grudge against you, but you never know if they just have so much going on at home, so much going on behind the scenes. Give people a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. If you ever do come into conflict with somebody, just be gracious about it, because again, work is only a part of their life and there's a lot more things that they might be dealing with. Do not try to make somebody's life miserable on purpose. Just try and be kind and try and be empathetic. Have a human side. Be nice, right? It won't hurt you to be a kind person. It will not. Offer to help people when you feel like they need help. Offer yourself when you feel like you've got enough time on your hands to do a little bit more. Do not be a lazy person, because at the end of the day, if everyone is pulling their weight on the team and you are found slacking, obviously people are not going to be happy with that. They would not like you. So if you are that lazy person, get yourself up and have words with yourself right now, right this very minute. Okay, there's so many other things that I probably feel like I can mention right now, but these are the things that I have listed down to talk to you guys about today. If there's anything else that you feel like I could add to this video, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment to tell me what you liked about it, or just, you know, tell me something nice in the comments. All right, have a lovely day, guys, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bloopers, this is the second time I'm recording this video, and I have to tell you that this second time is going a lot differently than the first time I recorded it. Like, it's so completely different to what I said in the first video, which is very interesting. Now I feel like there was a reason why that first video did not have audio, so I spent a lot of time recording a video for you guys and the video did not have audio, but it's okay. I wasn't mad. I just went to sleep, and I'm happy that we're doing this again. Okay, I'm gonna catch you guys in my next video. Bye.